Hello everybody, thank you for joining today's InduSoft webinar covering BacNet application. We have a guest speaker today, Mr. Alberto Vieiro from STEP in Spain. As we get started today, just some quick logistics. First of all, my name is Scott Courtier. I'm Senior Technical Sales with InduSoft. I'm going to cover a little bit of information about the driver, the BacNet drivers that we have, and some information on how you can use InduSoft Web Studio and BacNet, and then I'll hand it over to Alberto, who can cover the application or a couple different applications that they've worked on. For logistics, we cannot hear you in this type of webinar, so if you have some comments or questions, please feel free to put those into the chat panel or the Q&A panel in your WebEx interface, and then we'll try to answer those as we get going. Some of them we won't be able to answer until the end, but we'll try to get through all of them. And again, for those of you who have never attended one of these webinars, we send out an email with some information on it as to where to find the recording of this webinar and within a couple of days or so, and then a survey of what you'd like to see in future webinars and get some feedback from you so we can always improve. Also, if you provide us with your name and address and shirt size, we'll send you a free t-shirt just for joining us today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and again, we can't hear you, so if you have questions, put those in the chat panel or the Q&A panel. So what we're going to talk about first is why would you want to use InduSoft as a BacNet solution? And Alberto has a little bit of this in his presentation, but just if you didn't know, the drivers are available for free or should be no extra charge within InduSoft Web Studio. There's no extra license required. There's two different drivers that we're going to be talking about, and there's over 200 drivers built into InduSoft, and the two different BacNet drivers that we have are included with that. It allows you to run on low-cost HMI hardware. Because it's a very scalable product, you can run InduSoft on very high-end server PCs, kind of middle-range PCs with desktop operating systems such as Windows 7 or Windows 8, and even down to Windows CE, so that you can get that very scalable platform and still keep that excellent performance going. Because it's designed to run on many hardware platforms, we have to support different CPU architectures. So on Windows CE, we support different CPU architectures, allowing you to be very flexible in what hardware you choose. And the slave offering, the slave driver offering, can really allow you to connect to existing solutions that you might have out there with the BacNet protocol, and then coupling that with the BacNet Ethernet solution that we have allows you to really put anything you want to together. And I'll cover this last bullet point a little bit more in a couple more slides, talking about sharing data with other devices and or databases. So what do we have to offer here? We have a couple of different drivers. The built-in driver, BACNE, stands for BacNet, and that's the BacNet IP driver. And then we also have a BACSL, which is the slave driver, and that supports MSTP, which is the master-slave token passing. So we have both of those are built in and included within InduSoft Web Studio. But we also have, again, upwards of 240 different drivers. And you can see down in the lower left-hand corner here, in addition to the BacNet drivers, we also have drivers for almost every brand of PLC that's out there, drives, motion controllers, temperature controllers, lots of different devices. And by doing this, we can also have, there are licenses within InduSoft Web Studio that support multiple drivers, and if you have, let's say, 3 drivers, and BacNet is one of those, and Modbus is another, and Allen Bradley Ethernet IP might be a third, you can share information through InduSoft Web Studio from any driver to any other driver, and this allows dissimilar technologies or dissimilar companies to, or you can share information between dissimilar company products. So get information from a BacNet controller to a PLC or vice versa. And if you take a look at this drawing is actually out of one of our presentations that's included on the InduSoft DVD. It's called Intro IWS. And this diagram really shows InduSoft Web Studio tag database is at kind of the core of this diagram, And through here, you could communicate, for example, from any PLC or from a driver to a database. So if you wanted to get information from a BacNet controller or BacNet device to a database, you can do that. Or maybe into OPC, so you can get information from BacNet into OPC. And notice that all of these arrows here are bidirectional, so you can get information from OPC and send it to BacNet, or from a database and send it to BacNet. So lots of different possibilities, and it's very easy to do that. So I wanted to point out that opportunity there. So InduSoft is a member of BacNet International. What is BacNet International? It's an industry association that basically promotes BacNet and making sure that all the different companies working on it work with it. So they provide interoperability testing, educational programs, promotional activities. And recently I spoke with the president of BacNet International, and we're going to try to get him to present here in a couple more weeks, maybe a month or two, on his own webinar, maybe coupled with somebody else. So we'll be doing another BacNet webinar here fairly soon. So if you need to take a look at BacNet International, you can see their website there. It's bacnetinternational.org. And another thing I'd like to mention is we have some new symbols that we're working on now, and they are specifically for HVAC. You can see a blower here, some sensors, a chiller or a cooler coil here. So we're working on those, and we're going to target those for version 8, which is due out early to mid next year. Also speaking about symbols, if you're not familiar with this, here on the InduSoft website, we mentioned it in our blogs, but we also have on our store, there's a section here for free add-ons. And in the free add-ons, you can see a lot of different symbols that we've added. And some of the symbols, we started as a program called the Symbol of the Week. So once a week, we publish a symbol, talk a little bit about it, and allow you to download it for free. So there's things like a module here, so you can break out the different I/O modules and see the different LEDs and the statuses of that, some gauges, kind of a set point level indicator, some stoplight indicators, things of that nature. One of the ones I did fairly recently was this Andon system, this production monitoring system. That also has a video that accompanies it, and I did built an entire production monitoring system in 11 minutes. So if you want to check that one out. Now, one of the ones that I plan on including here in the next few days is a symbol that I'm working on now, which kind of goes hand in hand with BacNet. It's not specifically for BacNet, but it's more for HVAC. It's this thermostat. So I think I should be able to go ahead and run this here. And you'll see that this thermostat allows you to label it, what room it is or what zone it is, allows you to change the mode from heat to air conditioning to off, and you can set the fan to on, auto, or off, and allows a set point as well as a current display here, so I can, as I click on this up arrow, I can go up 1 at a time, or if I hold it down, I can go up 5 at a time. So a little bit of different features there. A few things I'm working on to add, such as the units, whether it be Fahrenheit or Celsius in here, and maybe a little bit different design, but that's what I'm working on. If you have the need for this, look for it soon on our store, free add-ons for Symbol of the Week. That'll be coming up there soon. Let's see, what else did I want to mention? Get this out of the way here. Also on the website, we've got a lot of case studies, and case studies for lots of different industries, but specifically what I'd like to point out is, let's see, here under marketing, case studies. If you take a look at this, we have these broken down. They usually make them on the website by date, but over here on the right, you can see that they're broken down by categories. And if you compare them to all the other ones, building automation has quite a few more than most. It's not specifically on BacNet, but a lot of them are. So here we have building automation for a shopping center. We have a hospital. We have a school system in Portugal that's using InduSoft. Building management, more hospitals, temperature control equipment. This gentleman did his whole entire house and allowed us to interview him and publish pictures inside of his house. So it's kind of a neat application. Security and detention systems, and continuing on, some more building automation here. And then I don't know the exact number, but I think we have somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe above this by now, 60% of all soccer stadiums in the UK or using InduSoft to monitor the facilities there, and some boats or some yachts, as well as a shopping mall. So lots of different case studies. I encourage you to take a look at those. Maybe you'll find something that helps somebody else and never realized how you could use InduSoft to help solve a particular problem that you're working on. So take a look at those. We also have, I mentioned case studies, but we also have, bring the website back into view here, here under products and downloads, sample applications. We have a lot of different sample applications for a few different features within InduSoft Web Studio. But if you take a look here, we've got a building automation application that's got some nice graphics and some symbols within it. And then we have the application that was used for the building automation and BacNet webinar that we did just a few weeks ago. And I'll move this out of the way again and point that out, that the previous webinar that we did, if you're viewing this on the recording, you can go ahead and pause that now, or just a heads up, we will be posting this recording here in a few days. So you can go to that previous webinar, just search for it on our website, and there's another direct link to that application used in that webinar. We also have a couple of blog articles specifically talking about BacNet, and so please feel free to check those out. And if you need any more information, contact us, and there's more contact information at the tail end of this presentation. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Alberto, and he's going to talk about these few things here. And as I get the presentation handed over to him, we'll give this display back to him. Alberto, are you there, sir?
Yes.
Okay, you have presentation status, or you will shortly, as soon as I click on this button. All right, so it's in your capable hands, and I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. Go ahead and share your desktop, and then we'll let you take over. And if I could get confirmations from maybe somebody down in Austin that we got everything working visual-wise, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
And,
I think I'm
go ahead,
now,
sir.
No?
I see your screen. I'd like to have confirmation from somebody else down in Austin before we get going.
And since
or anybody for that matter. Can we see your screen? All right, I'm not getting any feedback from anybody, so I'm going to say go ahead, and just everybody's going to be shy today and not step in. So, Alberto, go ahead, please. Oh, there we go. We got lots of feedback. You're on. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Hello, everybody. First, I want to introduce myself. I'm electronic engineering. I've been working more than 20 years with a SCADA system, and I've been working with a BACnet driver of InduSoft for about, I think, 4 years. And also I've been working with the design team of InduSoft for improving BACnet driver, including the actual functionalities to increase speed and reliability. And my company is specialized in electronic devices for control, and also we are the distributor of InduSoft in Spain. Actually, in our customer portfolio, there are some of the leaders brands in building automation, not only in Spain, but also in the international, like Delta Controls, which in Spain is Delta Controlli, Sauter, and Johnson Controls. In these years, I have the opportunity to be in contact with perhaps 200 systems working in different building automation, and many of them are running BACnet. Okay. Perhaps the world of building automation is one of the most complex for SCADA systems, as there are many proprietary solutions in this market, and in the same SCADA, you must include different areas of the building that normally are using different brands and different control strategy. You must control climate, lighting, fire detection, perhaps security, and now the customer wants to have it all together in the same computer. And also in this market, the customer expects to have a lot of information, even if it's not really important. That means that the traffic of the buses is really, really big. But in the other side, buildings are no very fast infrastructure for communications. Other difficulty in this market is the way they treat the control. Normally in industrial applications, we use PLC with centralized control. In buildings, especially in big buildings, as the space is very big, they use always distributed control. But the SCADA software is not specifically designed for resolving all the information that use distributed control. But nowadays is one of the best choice you can do. Also, this market has a big problem that the maintenance personnel that is going to deal with the SCADA software, normally they have low qualification. So you must do, when the integrator works, must put it everything very, very easy. And that means a lot of work for the integrator. What is happening, especially in Europe, with this kind of building automation protocols? Now, I think, in my opinion, that BACnet is becoming one of the most used against proprietary protocols and also other protocols like Longtalk or X10. One of the reasons is that it's very, comparing with another, is much easier to put into small processors, so it's very easy to find devices and also gateways. But BACnet, as an open protocol for integrator, has a small inconvenience, that is that the information you get from the device in the manual not always give you enough information to arrange the driver in InduSoft. You have to deal with that also. BACnet is also a very flexible topology based in IP, so it's very easy to implement it in buildings, actually, as the Ethernet network inside the buildings almost is in everywhere. When you enter this world, you will find very good solutions based in proprietary building automation SCADA. In this case, the integrator and the final customer get a very simple software. It's very easy to use for them, but they have the disadvantage that is just suitable for that brand. You can integrate any other device unless you use a very expensive gateways. Against this, the use of universal SCADA, especially InduSoft, gives you the opportunity to integrate many kinds of protocols with the same software. But the integrator should be more technical, qualified. Also, a great advantage now of InduSoft in this market is that InduSoft works perfect in any version of Windows. Normally, the proprietary SCADAs are not so fast adapting the versions Microsoft is running, right? We, our company here in Spain, as distributors, we offer direct support to our customers. Most part of them are big integrators and also small integrators. And our experience working with them is that there are some hints that normally they find it using BACnet, not also BACnet SCADA, BACnet driver, but in general using InduSoft with BACnet. First is dealing with firewalls and antivirus software. Normally, they don't realize that the firewall is blocking BACnet messages. Also, and this is one of the areas we have worked together with the developing team of InduSoft, is BACnet addressing. I'm going to talk more in detail a while after to see the problems and how to resolve it. Response time is always a problem when you plan to put a SCADA in a very big system, right, in a very big building. But now the latest version of InduSoft give you a lot of possibilities to get good response time. And the other two hints that you see normally is the format that the driver gives you the scheduler information. As it's a big string, you have to know enough Visual Basic script programming to deal with it. This means that normally they require help from us, right? And also there is a BACnet functionality that also give problems to the integrators, which is priority. If you are planning a BACnet application with just an SCADA and no local panel, normally priority is not a problem. But if in the same building you have the SCADA and small local panels, you have to check the priority the local panels are using and arrange the priority of InduSoft to be the same. Otherwise, just the highest priority will send the set point or the order. As I told you, one of the main problems the integrator finds is to deal with BACnet addressing. When you get the information from the BACnet manufacturer, normally they provide a software with a browser that show you the configuration they have finished. And this information is what you receive. Perhaps it will look like this. You will see addresses like this and information like this. But you have to provide InduSoft an address like you are shown in the manual. You need IP address or IP address, subnet, and MAC address. But how you locate this information in the information you get from the system? Not always is easy. In that case, you have problems determining which is the right address you have to put here. There are two possibilities that can help you a lot. One is BACnet browser. There is one which is called CAS, which gives you just the information you need. I will show you. This is what you get from browsing using a CAS browser, right? You will see the device number, which is what you should put in the MAC address field of InduSoft. But as the BACnet is an open platform, not all the manufacturers consider the same way of addressing. So sometimes if you just use this number without any more information, InduSoft is not able to work with the device. What is happening? Normally is that the order of the device, of the device number, is not the same when InduSoft transmits it as the device expects to receive. For that, even if it's not in the manual, there is a way to resolve this using an address in X format. You will see it here, as SAE. The address is the same number, in this case is 2014 in X, but the order is what you have to put here. This way, InduSoft will deal with any kind of addressing way the manufacturer is using. Also, there is another way to find this address, which is using a very popular tool, which is Wireshark. I think many of you have used it. And in case of BACnet, Wireshark can show you the full BACnet protocol. This is what you will see in Wireshark monitoring a BACnet. traffic. What you should do in this case, you don't have a CAS BACnet browser, but you have the software you get from the manufacturer. Well, use this software to contact to see the information from the device you need and run Wireshark. Set the filter in BACnet and show the inside of any, you see here, confirm requirement, read property, not always multiple, but normally you will see confirm rec. If you see the inside of this package, this area, which shows building automations and control network, will show you exactly the same MAC address here. You will need to put in InduSoft addressing for the driver, right? So there are two ways to resolve the problem of difficulties in finding the right addressing mode. In case you have problem, please contact the InduSoft support. They are very used to do this and will help you also. And now I will show you one application developed especially with BACnet. In this case, this is not a very big building, but the special thing, and that makes it peculiar, is that it's a requirement from the owner of the building. In this case, it's a UNESCO Foundation. It's a old hospital inside Barcelona, which initially was using as a modern hospital, but now they built a new building, and the old one, which comes from the Art Nouveau ages, is completely returned to the original aspect. And to make it profitable, is used as a place for renting rooms. If you rent a room there, you will get an iPad as a high-tech remote controller of the room you have rent. Which is the architecture of InduSoft here. In this building, there was another SCADA, is an SciTech, which controls the production of cooling and water and that kind of thing. But simplicity can't offer any solution for an iPad. So they contact us to see if InduSoft was able to do that. And this is an application developed about 1 year ago. The version that was running InduSoft then has not the actual powerful in HTML5 solution, so we use another possibility of InduSoft, which is running terminal server, right? So here, InduSoft is running a terminal server session, one for each of the iPads, right? And InduSoft directly connect with the BACnet PLC, which controls the lining of the rooms, and the, in this case, Siemens PLC that controls the climate, temperature of the rooms. So let's see the project in InduSoft, right? I'm going to show you first the driver BACnet, right? You can see the station, which is addressed in the way I told you, because in this case, the device that control is not a PLC exactly. It's really a gateway that has the line controllers of the building. So the addressing was not standard, but we have the possibility of using this special way of addressing to resolve that, right? And also we have a Siemens PLC driver running, okay? And let's see which is the result running InduSoft, as InduSoft is running as terminal server. I will run InduSoft without the viewer, and now each of the session will run their own viewer. I'm running manually. And now we will see what the owner of the building wants the customer see. It's not a normal screen for a SCADA, right? The background image is a real photo from the building, from the inside, right? And all the design really is developed by a artistic designer. So the lines, sizes, everything looks very nice. I can control temperature of the room. All this, of course, is touch screen. I can change language. In this case, this room had no blinds. Light, I can turn it on, turn it off, and also I can establish how the lights must show inside the room. For this room, you have 4 lighting modes, and you can get the information. But you can see the aspect is very nice. There are 20 rooms. You have a hidden button here in this symbol, and using a secret password, you can go into a selection, room selection. In this case, each iPad is running a terminal server session of a different Windows user, and here you can see which iPad is using in each room. There is another type of room, like this one, which is very big one. You change the background, okay, and you have also your climate control. In this case, you have blinds. You can open them, close them. They have 2 areas. This part and this part. Also, you can control lights. In this case, the lighting is very sophisticated. You have lines here. You can turn it on, turn it off. And also, you have the possibility of turn on and off, different linings over around the walls. And I'd like to show you a little how this is done, because InduSoft offers you a lot of choices for developing, especially building applications where you have many, for example, a hotel, you have many rooms, every room is the same, and it's a special way to use all the possibilities you find in screen designing, in symbols developing, give you a lot of. All this is done just with 4 screens. One of them is the room selection screen. Okay. Of course, everything is done with symbols. You can see it's just one symbol on the top. We deal with the common part of all the screens. There's another screen. This is another screen. No, it's not running now. I'm sorry, just 3 screens. Okay, this is the password screen. And the most difficult element is this screen, which with just one screen, you show different. Okay, here we are. You show the different content. You saw it. It's just one screen. Everything is done with symbols. I will show you, for example, this is a symbol that controls the lights. Okay, I'm going to close it. I'm going to edit one of the symbols. As the background is an image, all the symbols are really transparent. So to edit it, we just choose a background dark to see the effect. And okay, you make use of different images and just work as a normal InduSoft symbol. All the power is inside InduSoft. And when you call it, you just need to control to control the symbol with arrays. This way, with just a few arrays, you have one position of each array for each room. And these are these tags. These are local tags, so each of the session can see its own room without interfering with the rest. Okay, and this is just a small example what you can reach not only as a normal SCADA with InduSoft. InduSoft is a very interesting tool for developing a lot of visual application. As Scott told you, we have also many customers that use InduSoft like a gateway. As InduSoft have a lot of drivers, in the case you need to exchange information between systems, that the information is not equivalent. For example, you cannot pass the scheduler you get from BacNet to another system. It's impossible. They will not process that. So one choice is read the scheduler in the InduSoft and arrange it into another format to pass it with another driver to the device. Need that. It's very popular, this choice, because you can run it in a very small computer, perhaps these computers without a hard disk that are really cheap, and in many times is much cheaper and flexible using InduSoft as gateway that a specialized gateway that you can get in the market. I would like to show you some screens that one of our integrators is doing with InduSoft. You can see what is the limit of the design. Okay? I think there's a lot of work here. Okay, this is a sample application. All these are symbols. Oh, really look nice. They have a drawing and personal, especially to do this, because drawing this in 3 dimensions is not a simple work. Okay, more. It looks nice, really nice. A fan coil. If you see it in real, the inside motor seems that is moving. They have animation also of this. One more, and this is the last one. Okay, you can see. It's another fan coil, and you just have to work hard to do this. It's not so easy as seems. In this case, they use delta controls with BacNet mainly because they are the distributor of the delta control, which is one of the most important BacNet devices manufacturer, and the requirements really good, are very good. Well, and I think that's all I have to tell you. It's part of our experience working with InduSoft and BacNet and building applications, and I hope you enjoy it. And I think if you have any questions, I can respond you. I will please do it.
Alberto, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for that. I learned a lot. I always learn a lot on these webinars. Even when I'm presenting, I learn somehow. We had one question come in, and it came in, I believe it's in Spanish, and I translated it.
I see.
but I think the question is more for InduSoft than for you. But if you can help answer it, please do. But The question is, do we have anybody who has integrated using evaporative cooling or air conditioning on a train system with train brand system with InduSoft? And I don't know of anybody specifically doing that, at least that we have permission to talk about, but I just did a quick Google search for train and InduSoft, and there are 2 or 3 slideshows and presentations from our customers talking specifically about working with train products and InduSoft together. We don't have permission to talk about those, so I'm just going to say if you can do a quick search, Google search, you'll see a few of those. I don't specifically have any information about train and InduSoft. Alberto, do you have any information on that?
I've never used train. I've used another because train perhaps is not very popular here. Here is very popular. I think it's an Italian company. It's called Clima Veneta, which is similar to train. I don't know. The problem of this market is really complex to deal with so many solutions, especially if you, which is very normal, that you go to a building to make a renew and you want to install the SCADA on it, and you find that they have an old system to produce the cool water, hot water, and in these cases, it's very normal that even newer system from this brand, you can communicate with them with popular protocols. In the old ones, it's not very easy. We are also a drivers developer for InduSoft. In many cases, we develop especially the protocol for these integrations. But there are limits in that. First, you need to have the information. And second, you need to have a testing device, because just simulation is very difficult to develop a protocol with a profit.
Okay, thank you. There was another question that came in. Are there any examples that I can download showing the use of the slave driver? Well, one of the first things that I did, hopefully you guys can see my screen, is I went to the InduSoft products and downloads communication examples here. And these are in alphabetical order, and we put most of the, or a lot of the drivers up here and how to communicate with them. And I do not see the BACnet, either of the BACnet drivers on here. So if you need that, one of the things that might be, I just thought of, is in the sample applications. I'm not sure when Paulo presented it, if he used both drivers or just the BACNE driver. I'm not sure about that. But if you contact our support, they should be able to help you get that going. So good question. Appreciate that. Maybe we'll look into adding that communication example on the website. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. And for those of you who haven't been on our webinars before, we can't hear you. So if you can put your questions or comments into the chat panel or the Q&A panel within your WebEx interface, we'll answer those. But Alberto, I'd like to thank you again. I don't see any new questions coming in. I'd like to thank you again for presenting with us. Really appreciate it. And some more thank you on the Q&A panel. Appreciate that. And with that, I guess we're going to end it today. And Alberto, thank you very much. If you didn't realize, Alberto is actually in Spain, and today's a holiday, so he's doing this in the evening time. He's at home, and we really appreciate you doing this. Thank you very much, Alberto.
Okay, thank you, Scott, to you, and thank you for inviting me. And I hope that this time We didn't have any problems. So, well, I think everything was well. Thank you for you.
Yeah, it went much better screen, no flashing than like this morning. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with InduSoft and how to get a hold of us, we have some new contact numbers that'll get you directly to InduSoft. You can see those listed on the screen, and also our websites, different websites around the world, and phone numbers as well. So with that, Alberto, again, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and have a great day, and hopefully you learned something. And if you need more information, let us know. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.